Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of 1998 Represent. Today, we are taking a look at version 2.0 by Garbage. This is actually the 25th anniversary of this album, released 25 years ago today. And to celebrate that, I'm also wearing this awesome shirt I picked up at the 2018 version 2.0 anniversary concert. That was the first concert I ever went to where I had to travel out of state for it. And I believe that was my, let me see, 12, 16, 17. That would have been my fourth Garbage concert. So I saw them in 2012, 2016, 2017. Then saw them in 2018 for this particular tour. Again, this shirt is based on the music video for Special, which is one of the songs off this album. And in my opinion, this is easily their best album. I think a lot of fans of Garbage feel the same way. Easily their best by a wide margin, in my opinion. It's a perfect album. Whenever I play it, I'm always listening to it all the way from start to finish, no skipping at all. It's just, in my opinion, a perfect album, and it's their second album. So they had a really good album with their debut, their 1995 self-titled debut, and then a lot of bands kind of fall into their second album. I don't know what's called, like the sophomore slump or something like that, where their second album or second major album isn't as good as their debut album. They avoided that with this one, and then they released this album, which is, again, my opinion, their best album. So let's take a look at some quick notes I have here about the album. Released May 11th, 1998. Again, very important album for me personally. I remember picking this up like that week, and I still get flashbacks to the first time I heard Special, which was, just walking back from purchasing it with my portable CD Walkman and headphones on, and it was like a nice day in May of 1998, and the opening riff is Special, and just always makes me jump back to that particular day, the first day I heard that song. So very kind of nostalgic about it. Even like when I hear that song, every time I hear Special, I just get flashbacks to that moment. It's pretty awesome. So like I mentioned earlier, went to the 20th anniversary tour for this back in 2018. They played basically the entire album as well as a bunch of the B-sides off the album. And a lot of those songs that, like especially the B-sides, they haven't played live since then. I think they were not necessarily retiring them, but they were a lot of songs that even during that concert, Shirley Manson says a lot of these songs we may or may never play again. So they haven't played them since, but a lot of the songs that I do love off this album, the first time I ever heard, I believe, When I Grow Up Live, I think was on that particular concert, and You Look So Fine. The first time I saw them play that live, at least in person, was at that concert as well. Some of those songs they've actually have re-put into or re-added to their live set list. So When I Grow Up, I think they've brought that back a couple times. And then last time I saw them last summer, they brought back You Look So Fine, which is my favorite Garbage song. And like I said, I've seen them 7 times, about to be 8 times. So about a month from now, I'm going to see them again. And I'm hoping that a lot of those songs that are my favorites are still on the set list, but we'll have to wait and see on that. So just some quick notes here about the vinyls on this. So I have this album twice on vinyl, and this is probably, I have essentially their complete discography on vinyl, with the exception of Bleed Like Me, because for some reason that album was never released on vinyl. So hopefully in, 2023, in 2 years, it came out in 2005. So hopefully in 2 years they re-release that album with a 20th anniversary package like they've done for their earlier albums. But this is the original album that I picked up. I picked this one up in 2012, and it took quite a bit of work to actually get it. So um, this album was released during a time where a lot of, at least Garbage in particular, a lot of their vinyls were only released, I believe, in England or like overseas. So basically, here we got CDs, we got cassettes, eventually digital downloads of it, and then eventually during they've remastered and re-released them on vinyl since then. But when I went to pick this up in 2012, I remember walking into a local record store asking if they had any of the older Garbage albums on vinyl. Because in 2012 they released their fifth album, Strange or not Strange Little Birds. Their fifth album is Not Your Kind of People. Not Strange Little Birds came out after that, but Not Your Kind of People was released in 2012. That one was pretty easily available on vinyl. So I went to this record store and I said, "Hey, I'm looking for any of their older albums." And the guy who was working there, basically was saying, "Well, like during the '90s, not a lot of bands were releasing like vinyl. If they were like more like overseas releases." So checked on eBay, couldn't find it. Checked on Amazon, there was like one going for like a vinyl going for like $200 or something like that. Put some bids in on some auctions on eBay for the album, but always got outbid. And then eventually found one. It was from a seller in Japan. I believe I ended up paying, I think, $70 for this. So $70 for a record is still pretty expensive. But I think that was for like one of my favorite albums of all time, and easily their best album. I thought it was a pretty good deal. So picked this one up on vinyl in 2012. This is I believe, the Mushroom record printing of it. And then also, in 2018, they released the 20th anniversary kind of like deluxe collection, which is this one right here. I initially didn't buy it from their site because it was like, I believe with shipping it was going to be like $120 or something. But then I saw it on eBay with free shipping and it was like 60. So got this from a third party seller on eBay. I want to say like a few months after it came out. And this is like a deluxe edition that includes the main remastered album, plus an entire album full of B-sides, plus a bunch of extra cool extra content. I think I did an unboxing video for that, so I'll leave a link in the description where you can check that out. It's kind of heavy because it's quite a lot of stuff in there. All right, so back to some basic notes here. Interesting thing about the album title is that the sound engineer, or one of the sound engineers on the album, Billy Bush, was the one that came up with the name of the album. There was an interview where Shirley was saying people were writing on like a marker board various ideas for the album, and then he came up, wrote version 2.0, and then everybody kind of agreed that that should be the album title. And it kind of fits into the computerized area of the album because they definitely were using a lot of computers and various like software to record the album. So there's like a quote where Shirley was saying like if you came into the studio and we weren't recording something, we were probably all huddled around the computer screen like looking at like whatever it could have been, like various like probably looking at Pro Tools and that kind of thing. There's some various new sound styles on this album, so they definitely lead a little more into the techno side and the electronica side of music for this record. There's some quotes that I saved. Let me bring them up here. Shirley Manson was quoted as saying, quote, "We didn't want to totally embrace the world of electronica, so version 2.0 juxtaposed the hi-fi with the super organic. So didn't want to go full electronica, but like that's the really cool thing with this album is it borrows from there's definitely rock elements in there. There's definitely electronica and techno elements in there. It's kind of like I label it as a rock album, but there's definitely like various genres influencing it as well, which is really cool. Another quote from Butch Vig. It said Butch Vig says, "Quote, felt that we had carved out our own turf on the first record, and we wanted to take everything we did and make it better." So first album is definitely more of like a traditional kind of rock record, and then they basically the stuff that worked in that album they used and then they added to it and made it like again adding other genres into the album and what have you. Um, some of the drums, I like one of my favorite little factoids about this album is a bunch of drum tracks were at least initially recorded or partially recorded at least in an abandoned slash disused candy factory in Madison, Wisconsin. They recorded some stuff there, but eventually they got some noise complaints and they had to basically like got shut down from using that. It's just like a cool, just imagine like the acoustics of like a factory, like sounds bouncing off of factory walls and just like having like a really cool like sound style based on the fact that you're drumming in an abandoned factory basically. I remember reading in their books. They released a book a while ago. I want to say 2017. That's kind of like their career up to that point. It's a really cool coffee table book. I highly recommend it. But there was like a little factoid in there about them crashing Pro Tools because they had too many tracks on one song. I don't think it specified what song it was. It was probably Push It, just because I know Push It has a ton of, on top of all the regular instruments, it has like so many various like effects and like overdubs and other kind of like tricks in there. So that's probably, I imagine it's probably Push It is a song that probably crashed the thing. This album, the songs on this album created some really amazing music videos. The shirt I'm wearing here is based on the music video for Special, where Shirley Manson is flying in like a sci-fi steampunkish looking airplane, and she's being chased throughout this kind of desert kind of landscape by the other members of the band in their own little planes. It's really cool. The music video for Push It is also insanely well done. It's very like creative and awesome. And then the I Think I'm Paranoid video is also pretty good. I remember reading as well that when they finished recording the album, Shirley Manson wasn't living in the country at the time, so she was like would come over here and had to go back to Scotland when they were done, and like the other members of the band, so Butch Vig, Steve Marker, and Duke Erickson were spending so much time just messing around with the recordings that she eventually had to say like, "Hey, like stop messing around, get the album mixed, and get it like basically get it mixed so I could go home." And then they were just messing around. So like the album maybe jokingly would never have come out because they would probably still be just messing with the recordings if she didn't tell them to get it released, which is kind of funny. Let's see here. This album, of course, I kind of obviously made a bunch of best album lists for 1998. Again, probably if I had to go to say my favorite album of the year, it's probably this one. This is just an amazing album from that year. On a year of really good music, this is definitely the album of the year for 1998 for me personally. Let's go ahead and take a look at the track listing here. We'll look at the track listing off the original vinyl first, and then we'll look at the track listing off of the 20th anniversary, or at least the B-side. So, 12 tracks on this album. They're all amazing. I have a few that I like more than others, but the album is basically perfect. But track 1, we have Temptation Waits. Track 2, we have I Think I'm Paranoid. Track 3 is When I Grow Up. Track 4 is Medication. Track 5 is Special. Track 6 is Hammering in My Head. Track 7 is Push It. Track 8 is The Trick Is to Keep Breathing. Track 9 is Dumb. Track 10 is Sleep Together. Track 11 is Wicked Ways. And track 12 is You Look So Fine. If I had to go through this and just choose a handful of my favorites off of it, I'll definitely say I Think I'm Paranoid for sure. When I Grow Up, Special, Hammering in My Head, Push It, and probably You Look So Fine are probably my favorites on the album. But the entire album is amazing. And of course, You Look So Fine being my all-time favorite song from them. Off this album, I probably go You Look So Fine first, and then probably Special. Push It is one of their best songs, and it's like I think it's kind of like Shirley Manson was saying that's kind of the like when she goes back to that time period, like thinking about that. Push It is basically like prime garbage. Like it is like probably I don't know if it's their most well known song, but it's one of the songs that they will play at every live show. Every live show I've seen, that song gets played. That's the one guaranteed song you're probably going to get. You're going to get a bunch of guaranteed songs off this album when they tour. I think this album and currently their first album make up like a good percentage of the songs, but their new stuff is also really good. So No Gods, No Masters came out a couple years ago. That album is also amazing. Like they seem to always kind of evolve their style over time. Like there's like kind of like memes or jokes about certain bands where it's like I liked this band until they released the same album like twice or something like that, or whatever the joke is. I don't think I've ever listened to a garbage album that sounded that close to one of their previous albums. They all seem to sound like very different. It's like, and they've released a bunch to where each album has its like own unique sound style, which I think is awesome. So that is the track listing off of the main album. The remastered version is the same track listing. But onto the B-sides for it, we have at track 1 we have Can't Seem to Make You Mine. Track 2 is 13X Forever, 13 Times Forever. Track 3 is Deadwood. Track 4 is Get Busy with the Fizzy. Track 5 is Soldier Through This. Track 6 is 13. Track 7 is Lick the Pavement. Track 8 is an acoustic version of Medication. Track 9 is Tornado, and track 10 is Afterglow. Tornado is a very fun, just kind of, don't really want to say throwaway song, but it's a song that you definitely know they kind of just put together just for the fun of it. It's a really fun B-side off that album. So that is that part of the video. I'm going to actually open this up and let you take a look at the liner card here. It's got one of the more iconic images of the band. So there's the back of the liner card, the lyrics, but one of the more iconic shots of the band from that time period. And then, of course, the back has all of the lyrics in it. And let me see if I can just set that over there. And then in here, it's got like a nice magnetic case. There are some stickers in here, some cool stickers. That was a card to get the album digitally, which I've already redeemed. This is the album, so this is the 20th anniversary edition of it, and then there's that same iconic image is right there. If I can actually get it to fit, kind of almost as too wide, but there's that. There's like a matchbook as well. And then you have, I probably won't be able to unfold it for here or take it out, but there is a poster of this particular poster in there as well. Of the kind of special, kind of like mock movie poster that they did for that particular music video. Lock that back up. And put that back down. There we are. That's probably going to do it for this video. Again, this is one of my favorite albums of all time. One of the most important albums that I believe that I own, or that I just listen to constantly. Garbage is easily one of my favorite bands, like easily my top, like in the top 3. And this is, in my opinion, their best album that they've ever released. It's essentially perfect. So, again, this is the 25th anniversary. Today is the 25th anniversary of this album's release. If you haven't heard it, I would highly recommend loading it up on whatever service you stream music on, Apple Music, Spotify, whatever it might be, and just give it a listen. Give the B-sides a listen to. The B-sides are also all really good. And then I'll probably have more concert footage from Garbage coming up, because I do have that show coming up in about a month. They're playing with Noel Gallagher and Metric. So Metric is opening, and then I don't know the exact order, but it's Noel Gallagher and then Garbage, or Garbage and Noel Gallagher. Not sure the order. But I'll probably have some concert footage from that as well. There'll be more concert footage in the description, to where you can check out, especially the concert footage from the 20th anniversary concert, which was in Albuquerque. But that's going to do it for this video. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks again for watching. Take care and have a good one.